December 19, 2023, News Report 1, Countdown to Taiwan's Presidential Election, Japan's Analysis on Lai Ching-te's Potential Strategies, Intense Domestic and International Debate. With 25 days left until Taiwan's presidential election, Professor Yasuhiro Matsuda from the University of Tokyo analyzes the situation. Matsuda believes that if Lai Ching-te, the DPP presidential candidate, wins, he is unlikely to adopt a pro-independence stance. Matsuda suggests that China is likely to respond strongly to any provocative actions, but the country is also aware that military aggression could harm itself. Additionally, Matsuda notes that China is currently grappling with serious economic issues, and the outcome of the upcoming U.S. election next year is unlikely to weaken China's position. Despite outward pressure on Taiwan, Matsuda believes that China will attempt behind-the-scenes dialogue with Taiwan to dissuade provocative actions. This would enable China to monitor Lai Ching-te's actions closely. Matsuda's analysis underscores Japan's deep understanding of Taiwan's political landscape. Simultaneously, the KMT continues its attacks on Lai Ching-te's old residence in Wanli District, New Taipei City. The house is located in a closed mining area, and due to the government's failure to update land usage, residents lost their legal property rights. The KMT accuses Lai Ching-te of unauthorized renovation and non-payment of property taxes. In response, Lai Ching-te, in an interview with Era TV on December 17, states that the mining area residents were neglected by the government and are now unfairly accused of being a privileged class, which he finds unacceptable. Lai Ching-te insists on a fair resolution, refusing to dismantle the house hastily, emphasizing the protection of residents' legitimate rights. On December 19, Taiwan's Land Administration Agency releases a statement affirming that the Wanli District mining area residence is not unauthorized, asserting residents' legal residency rights and urging the New Taipei City Land Administration Bureau to protect residents' rights, challenging the KMT's prolonged attacks. News Report 2, Earthquake in Gansu kills 127, injures 700, rescue operations face cold challenges. Gansu Province experiences a 6.2 magnitude earthquake, causing 127 deaths and over 700 injuries. Rescue operations are hindered by low temperatures, with the minimum temperature dropping to -16 degrees Celsius. China restricts the involvement of volunteers, raising concerns about information control. Meanwhile, Taiwan expresses condolences, with President Tsai Ing-wen and Premier Chen Chien-jen conveying sympathy. Taiwan's Ministry of the Interior organizes a 160-person rescue team ready to assist. Historically, the Chinese government has not allowed Taiwanese rescue teams into disaster areas. News Report 3, Xi Jinping to visit Mao Zedong Memorial Hall to commemorate 130th anniversary. Chinese President Xi Jinping will visit the Mao Zedong Memorial Hall to commemorate the 130th anniversary of Mao Zedong's birth. A meeting is planned at the Great Hall of the People, where Xi Jinping is expected to speak highly of Mao Zedong. In addition to the visit, the Communist Party's Seeking Truth magazine publishes an article on December 16 titled, Forever Remembering Comrade Mao Zedong's Outstanding Achievements and Lofty Character. The article reviews Mao Zedong's historical contributions, emphasizing Xi Jinping's reverence for Mao. The commemoration aims to affirm the party's history and underscore loyalty to Xi Jinping. News Report 4, Iran-backed Houthi militants attack commercial ships, disrupt global energy transportation. Houthi militants, supported by Iran, continuously attack Red Sea commercial ships, affecting major companies. Shipping companies, including British Petroleum, suspend operations in the Red Sea, causing a 35% decrease in ship traffic. Global supply chains face disruptions, leading to increased fuel prices. To secure the Red Sea's safety and commercial activities, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Austin, announces a multinational joint operation, involving the U.S., UK, Bahrain, Canada, France, Italy, the Netherlands, Norway, Seychelles, and Spain. Naval fleets will conduct joint patrols in the southern Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, with the USS Eisenhower carrier strike group deployed to the Gulf of Aden. The operation aims to maintain security and stability in the Red Sea region. News Report 5, Hamas releases video of elderly Israelis. Israeli government emphasizes rescue efforts. Hamas releases a video featuring 3 elderly Israelis abducted during the October 7 attack. The Israeli military condemns the video as an act of intimidation and crime. Israel vows to make every effort to rescue the hostages and insists on releasing women and children first in any potential exchange. There are indications that Hamas and Israel may reach a second hostage exchange agreement next week. The proposed deal involves the release of 300 terrorists, including senior Fatah officials, by Israel, while Hamas would release 50 hostages, including 6 Israeli soldiers. Meanwhile, the Israeli government provides the U.S. with a timeline for the conflict in Gaza, planning to conclude the fighting by the end of January next year. The Israeli Defense Forces will withdraw from central areas and shift to a defensive deployment before refocusing on attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. News Report 6, Political turmoil in Japanese politics. Abe faction accused of violating political funding law, LDP kickback scandal surfaces. On December 19, the Tokyo Regional Public Prosecutor's Office conducted a surprise search of the offices of Abe's Seiwa Policy Research Association and Sasikai, a faction led by Nikai, alleging that these factions violated the political funding control law. It is understood that the accountants of both factions have admitted to not including political donations received at banquets in their financial reports. This search operation was prompted by the recent exposure of a kickback scandal within the ruling Liberal Democratic Party, LDP. The Abe faction in the LDP issued sales targets to its affiliated members, requiring them to sell fundraising event tickets at a price of 20,000 yen each. Any amount exceeding the set targets would be refunded to the members, forming a kickback system. Over the past 5 years, the total kickback amount has reached 500 million yen, approximately $3.52 million. In an attempt to regain public trust, Prime Minister Abe reshuffled the cabinet on December 14, replacing all members associated with the Abe faction. LDP Prime Minister Fumio Kishida expressed confidence on December 19 that the investigation would reveal all details, and the LDP would take necessary measures to rebuild public confidence at the appropriate time. Meanwhile, the newly appointed Japanese ambassador to China, Kenji Yamayama, arrived in Beijing on the same day, emphasizing efforts to develop constructive and stable Sino-Japanese relations. News Report 7, Flu and COVID-19 detected in Taiwan's 4 airports. 68% of passengers have flu, 14.3% test positive for COVID-19. Deputy Director Luo Ijuan of Taiwan's Centers for Disease Control stated that voluntary testing conducted at Taiwan's 4 international airports from November 26 revealed that 68% of passengers from China, Hong Kong, and Macau had the flu, with 14.3% testing positive for COVID-19. This data aligns with China's announced flu statistics, showing a 43.9% positive rate in northern China and 54.1% in the south. Luo Ijuan believes that China's flu has entered a high incidence period, expected to peak by the end of December. Faced with the upcoming Chinese New Year, Taiwan should strengthen airport defense testing to detect anomalies early. News Report 8, Jimmy Lai's media founder, witness Li Yuxuan, detained in Shenzhen, accused of colluding with foreign forces. The Washington Post reports that Li Yuxuan, a witness linked to Jimmy Lai's media company, was intercepted by the Guangdong Maritime Police in August 2020 while traveling to Taiwan with 11 activists. He was subsequently sent to the Yantian Detention Center in Shenzhen. During his imprisonment, Li Yuxuan faced harsh treatment, being kept in solitary confinement with constant lighting, no outdoor time, frequent disturbances, and restricted movement in the cell. Li Yuxuan was accused of organizing others to illegally cross the border and was sentenced to 7 months in Shenzhen, transferred to the Hong Kong police after serving his term in March 2021. During questioning in Hong Kong, Li Yuxuan admitted to betraying his friends and providing information to Chinese police. He was charged with conspiring to collude with foreign forces to endanger national security, along with Jimmy Lai and others. In August 2021, Li Yuxuan admitted to the charges and became a witness, accusing Jimmy Lai and others. News Report 9, headline, Australian court rules Chinese community leader Yang Yisheng guilty of planning foreign interference, sentencing date pending. On December 19, the Victorian Supreme Court in Australia ruled that Chinese community leader Yang Yisheng is guilty of planning foreign interference. Yang Yisheng, a Chinese-born Vietnamese, 68, served as the chairman of the Victorian Federation of Vietnamese Chinese Associations, maintaining ties with the China Council for the Promotion of Peaceful Reunification, a subordinate agency of the United Front Work Department. Prosecutors claimed that Yang Yisheng had regular contact with Chinese intelligence agencies, attempting to influence then-Cabinet Minister Tudge, as Yang considered him a potential candidate for the Australian Prime Minister. Yang Yisheng reportedly told colleagues, "What I do won't be reported by the media, but Beijing knows what I'm doing." In 2018, Australia passed the Foreign Interference Laws, requiring political lobbyists to report to the government. Yang Yisheng became the first person in Australia to be charged with violating the foreign interference laws, with a maximum sentence of 10 years. The sentencing date is yet to be determined. News Report 10, regular meeting of Chinese and Russian prime ministers. Russian Prime Minister Mishustin visits China, emphasizes expanding trade and agricultural cooperation. Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin visited China on December 19, holding a regular meeting with Chinese Premier Li Keqiang. The talks focused on expanding bilateral trade and agricultural cooperation. Mishustin also planned to meet with President Xi Jinping on December 20. Both sides signed cooperation agreements covering customs, quarantine, market supervision, and other areas, highlighting the increasing frequency of high-level visits between the two countries. This visit marks the third meeting between Mishustin and Li Keqiang this year, underscoring the close cooperation between China and Russia. Prior to this, Russian Deputy Prime Ministers Novak and Dvorkovich attended the China-Russia Energy Cooperation Committee, and Russian Deputy Prime Minister Chernyshenko and Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng co-chaired the regular meeting of the Chinese and Russian Prime Ministers. Russian Finance Minister Siluanov and Chinese Finance Minister Liu Kun jointly presided over the China-Russia Finance Ministers' dialogue. High-level exchanges between China and Russia demonstrate a close relationship. News Report 11, U.S., Japan, South Korea launch missile warning information sharing system on North Korea, enhancing joint defense capability. On December 19, the military forces of the United States, Japan, and South Korea officially launched a missile warning information sharing system on North Korea. The system will share information on the launch location, flight trajectory, and expected landing point of North Korean missiles, aiming to enhance the joint defense capabilities of the three countries. Previously, the three nations only shared maritime detection capabilities, and now they will share all detection means, including maritime and ground, around the clock, to better address the missile threat from North Korea. Additionally, the three countries have formulated a long-term training plan, set to begin next year, for systematic and efficient joint training. News Report 12, renowned Chinese jurist and former president of China University of Political Science and Law Jiang Ping passes away at 94. Jiang Ping, former president of China University of Political Science and Law, passed away in Beijing on December 19 at the age of 94. Jiang Ping was a prominent legal scholar and educator, hailed as the conscience of the Chinese legal community. Born in Ningbo, Zhejiang, Jiang Ping studied journalism at Yenching University and law at Moscow State University. He served as the dean and president of the School of Law at China University of Political Science and Law, a member of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, and the deputy director of the Legislative Affairs Commission of the National People's Congress. Due to his support for the 1989 Tiananmen Square protests, Jiang Ping was dismissed by the Ministry of Justice in February 1990. Jiang Ping played a significant role in the formulation of laws such as the General Principles of Civil Law, Administrative Procedure Law, and Contract Law, making him a key figure in the development of civil and commercial law in China. In a 2014 interview, he discussed the widespread infringement of private rights by public authorities, emphasizing the urgent need to subject public power to institutional constraints. News Report 13. Monetary Authority of Singapore orders suspension of cross-border remittances to China via non-bank channels. On December 19, the Monetary Authority of Singapore issued a statement requiring cross-border remittance companies in Singapore to suspend remittances to China through non-bank and non-card channels starting from January 1 next year for a period of 3 months. Previously, there were reports that funds remitted by Singaporeans to China were frozen by Chinese law enforcement agencies, though the reasons for the freeze were not specified. The Singapore police received 670 similar reports, involving SGD 13 million, approximately $9.75 million. On December 18, hundreds of affected individuals gathered at the Chinese embassy in Singapore to demand the release of frozen funds. News Report 14. Cold wave ravages China, several regions set record low temperatures. Since the beginning of winter, China has experienced consecutive waves of cold weather. Last week, a cold wave brought rain, snow, temperature drops, and strong winds, causing a temperature decrease of more than 10 degrees Celsius in 30% of China's territory. The lowest temperatures at 14 national meteorological stations broke historical records for December, and the snowfall at 145 national meteorological stations set a new December record. 14 meteorological stations in Beijing recorded the lowest temperatures below historical lows, with some locations like Fangshan, Daxing, and Yanqing reaching between -18 and -27 degrees Celsius. Starting from December 19, a new round of cold air swept across China, bringing extreme weather conditions such as low temperatures, cold waves, heavy snow, and freezing rain, affecting the entire country in succession. Temperature drops exceeding 10 degrees Celsius are expected in Shaanxi, Liaoning, Jilin, and other regions, with Beijing's lowest temperature dropping to -15 degrees Celsius on December 20. This cold air mass will spread southward, and on December 22, it is expected to reach southern China, with cities like Hefei, Nanjing, Hangzhou, Wuhan, Shanghai, and Changsha experiencing temperatures below freezing. The cold wave has led to a rise in vegetable prices in many parts of China, impacting society and people's livelihoods. A resident in Beijing mentioned that due to the snow, vegetable prices have increased, with items like tomatoes doubling from 3 to 6 yuan, and winter melons rising from less than 1 yuan to 2 yuan. Some residents are considering returning to their hometowns due to these challenges but are also concerned about the difficulties in heating in their hometowns.